The Julio Iglesias Mirror Universe, where music is forbidden. In the basement of the CERN particle accelerator facility, Dr. Maria Gonzalez made a discovery in 2019 that would shatter our understanding of reality. While conducting routine quantum field experiments, she detected signals from what appeared to be a parallel dimension, a mirror universe where the fundamental laws of our reality were horrifyingly reversed. In this alternate dimension, an entity identical to our Julio Iglesias leads the last resistance against a totalitarian regime that has banned all forms of musical expression. Using advanced quantum detection technology, researchers have uncovered evidence of a reality where romantic ballads are illegal, singing is punishable by death, and one man's voice represents humanity's final hope for freedom. This investigation examines the scientific evidence, witness testimonies, and quantum mechanical proof that somewhere in the infinite expanse of parallel dimensions, Julio Iglesias is not just a singer. He's a revolutionary leader fighting the ultimate battle for human expression and emotional freedom. Dr. Maria Gonzalez, a theoretical physicist specializing in multiverse theory at CERN, was conducting routine experiments on quantum field fluctuations when her instruments detected what she initially assumed was equipment malfunction. The readings were unlike anything in our database, Dr. Gonzalez explains for her Geneva laboratory, surrounded by complex quantum detection equipment. We were receiving coherent signal patterns from what appeared to be a parallel quantum frequency, evidence of communication from an alternate dimensional reality. The signals, initially dismissed as background radiation, revealed structured patterns that suggested intelligent origin. When Dr. Gonzalez applied advanced decryption algorithms to the quantum static, she discovered something that challenged every assumption about parallel universe theory. The signals contained audio fragments, musical phrases that matched Julio Iglesias's vocal patterns, but with lyrics we'd never heard before. Dr. Gonzalez continues, playing a crackling audio file through specialized quantum receivers. But these weren't love songs. They were coded messages about resistance, freedom, and revolution. The discovery prompted Dr. Gonzalez to end it. Gonzalez to assemble an international team of quantum physicists, cryptographers, and intelligence analysts to decode what appeared to be communications from a parallel dimension where our reality's most beloved singer had become a revolutionary leader. Dr. Robert Chen, a quantum physicist at Stanford University specializing in parallel universe research, explains the scientific framework that makes mirror dimensions theoretically possible. Quantum mechanics suggests that every possible variation of reality exists simultaneously in parallel dimensions, Dr. Chen explains from his theoretical physics laboratory. For every choice, every event, every possibility that occurs in our universe, alternate versions play out differently in mirror realities. According to Dr. Chen's research, mirror dimensions aren't simply different versions of our reality. They're often complete inversions where fundamental aspects of our world operate in reverse. In mirror dimensions, what we consider positive forces often become negative, and vice versa, Dr. Chen continues. If music represents love, beauty, and human connection in our reality, it might represent chaos, disruption, or rebellion in a mirror universe where those qualities threaten an oppressive system. The signals detected at CERN suggest a reality where artistic expression has been systematically eliminated by a totalitarian regime that views music as a threat to social control and political stability. Cryptographer Dr. Sarah Martinez has spent 3 years analyzing the quantum signals received from the mirror dimension, uncovering a complex communication network that suggests an organized resistance movement. The signals contain multi-layered information, surface audio that appears to be musical fragments, but underneath are encrypted messages about resistance operations, safe house locations, and strategic planning, Dr. Martinez explains from her secured decryption facility. Martinez's analysis has revealed several distinct types of communications. Operational codes, musical phrases that correspond to specific resistance activities, using melody and rhythm to convey tactical information. Safe house networks, song titles and lyrical references that indicate locations where underground musical performances can occur without detection. Recruitment messages, romantic ballad fragments that actually contain coded invitations for new resistance members. strategic planning, complex harmonic progressions that encode information about coordinated resistance operations across multiple regions. What we're seeing is the evolution of music from art form to revolutionary language, Dr. Martinez concludes. In this mirror dimension, Julio Iglesias has essentially weaponized romantic songs to coordinate a global rebellion. Perhaps most compelling are testimonies from individuals who claim to have experienced temporary contact with the mirror dimension through what researchers call quantum consciousness bleeding, brief moments when awareness crosses dimensional boundaries. Dr. Lisa Park, a neurologist studying altered consciousness states, has documented over 200 cases of people who report vivid dreams or visions of a world where music is forbidden, and Julio Iglesias leads an underground resistance. The consistency of these reports is remarkable, Dr. Park explains from her consciousness research clinic. Subjects independently describe the same dystopian reality, the same resistance operations, and the same version of Julio Iglesias as a revolutionary leader rather than an entertainer. Maria Santos, a music therapist from Barcelona, describes her experience during what she calls a dimensional crossing episode. I was listening to Julio's music during a therapy session when suddenly everything changed. I could see him, but he was different, scarred, wearing dark clothing, performing in secret, to small groups of people who were risking their lives just to hear music. He was singing Hey, but the lyrics were about fighting oppression and never surrendering to those who would silence the human spirit. These testimonies, while difficult to verify scientifically, show remarkable consistency in describing specific details about the mirror dimension's political structure, resistance operations, and Julio's role as a revolutionary leader. Based on analysis of quantum signals and consciousness-crossing testimonies, researchers have reconstructed a detailed picture of the mirror dimension's dystopian society. Dr. Antonio Rodriguez, a political scientist studying totalitarian systems, has analyzed the mirror dimension's governmental structure as revealed through the quantum communications. What we're seeing is a perfect totalitarian state that has identified artistic expression as the greatest threat to social control, Dr. Rodriguez explains from his Political Research Institute. The regime, known as the Silence, has systematically eliminated all forms of musical expression because they understand that music creates emotional connections that transcend political boundaries. The Silence operates through several control mechanisms: audio surveillance networks, advanced listening technology that can detect musical sounds from miles away and identify their source locations, emotional suppression protocols, mandatory pharmaceutical treatments that reduce citizens' capacity for emotional response to rhythm and melody, cultural re-education programs, systematic elimination of musical knowledge and replacement with approved forms of non-rhythmic communication, enforcement division, specialized police units trained to detect, infiltrate, and eliminate underground musical activities. It's essentially our world's nightmare scenario. What would happen if governments successfully eliminated the human capacity for musical expression and emotional connection? Dr. Rodriguez concludes. Intelligence analyst Carlos Vega has mapped the mirror dimension's resistance network based on decoded quantum communications, revealing a sophisticated underground organization that uses music as both inspiration and tactical tool. The resistance operates through what they call harmony cells, small groups of 5 to 7 people who know only one piece of the larger network. Vega explains from his Intelligence Analysis Center. Each cell maintains one musical instrument and meets regularly for secret performances that serve both as morale maintenance and communication hubs. The resistance structure includes several specialized divisions: safe house orchestras, underground venues disguised as normal businesses where larger musical gatherings can occur with anti-surveillance protection, melody runners, couriers who memorize and transport musical compositions between resistance cells, spreading new songs and coded messages, harmony guards, security specialists who protect musical gatherings and help evacuate performers when enforcement raids are detected, echo broadcasters, technical specialists who use makeshift radio equipment to broadcast brief musical segments to wider populations, despite government signal jamming. At the center of all these operations is Mirror Julio, the dimensional version of our Julio Iglesias, who chose resistance over safety and has become the spiritual and strategic leader of the entire underground network. Vega notes. The mirror dimension version of Julio Iglesias, as revealed through quantum communications and consciousness-crossing testimonies, presents a dramatically different personality from our reality's beloved entertainer. Dr. Patricia Moore, a psychologist studying personality variations across parallel dimensions, has analyzed the psychological profile of Mirror Julio based on available evidence. Mirror Julio retains the musical genius and emotional intelligence of our dimension's version, but these qualities have been forged by oppression into revolutionary leadership rather than entertainment. Moore explains from her Interdimensional Psychology Research Center. Key characteristics of Mirror Julio include strategic mind, advanced tactical thinking developed through years of organizing resistance operations under extreme danger, sacrificial leadership, willingness to risk personal safety repeatedly to inspire and protect other resistance members, adaptive performance skills, ability to modify musical compositions in real time to convey different coded messages depending on operational needs, emotional warfare expertise, understanding of how to use music's psychological effects to undermine government morale while strengthening resistance unity. What's most remarkable is that his fundamental motivation remains the same across dimensions: bringing people together through music. But in the mirror universe, that goal requires warfare rather than concerts. Perhaps the most compelling evidence from the mirror dimension concerns the underground concert network that serves as both spiritual sustenance and strategic coordination for the resistance movement. Audio engineer Miguel Torres has analyzed quantum signal recordings of what appear to be secret musical performances, using advanced software to filter dimensional static and extract clear audio fragments. These underground concerts are unlike anything in our reality. Explains from his quantum audio laboratory. They're simultaneously artistic performances and military briefings, with coded songs that convey tactical information while providing the emotional strength that keeps the resistance functioning. The underground concerts follow specific security protocols: strong location rotation. No venue is used more than once to prevent enforcement pattern recognition. Audience limitation: maximum 50 people per performance to minimize detection risk and evacuation complexity. Strong signal dampening: advanced acoustic treatment to prevent sound from escaping the performance space. Strong emergency protocols: rapid dispersal procedures that can clear a venue in under 2 minutes if enforcement raids are detected. Mirror Julio's performances in these settings are both heartbreaking and inspiring. You can hear the weight of responsibility in his voice, but also the unwavering commitment to keep music alive, despite the personal cost. Dr. Elena Fernandez, a musicologist studying the tactical applications of musical expression, has analyzed how the mirror dimension resistance uses songs as literal weapons against the oppressive regime. Music in the mirror dimension has evolved beyond artistic expression into psychological warfare, Dr. Fernandez explains from her research institute. The resistance has discovered that certain musical combinations can disrupt government surveillance technology, enhance human emotional resilience, and even trigger physiological responses that make citizens temporarily immune to propaganda. The resistance employs several categories of musical weapons: disruption frequencies, specific harmonic combinations that interfere with government listening devices and communication systems; memory activation songs, melodies designed to help citizens remember suppressed emotional experiences and question government conditioning; unity harmonies, group singing techniques that create powerful psychological bonds between resistance members and strengthen collective resolve; liberation codes, musical patterns that trigger dormant resistance cells and coordinate simultaneous operations across multiple regions. Mirror Julio has essentially transformed romantic ballads into instruments of revolution. Dr. Fernandez concludes, love songs have become freedom songs, and Hey has become a battle cry for human dignity. Declassified quantum intelligence suggests that the mirror dimension's totalitarian regime has developed sophisticated countermeasures specifically designed to combat musical Julio's resistance operations. Counterintelligence analyst Dr. Roberto Silva has studied the regime's anti-music enforcement protocols, as revealed through intercepted dimensional communications. The silence has evolved their oppressions specifically in response to Mirror Julio's tactics, Dr. Silva explains from his Strategic Analysis Center. They've created a comprehensive system designed not just to prevent music, but to eliminate the human psychological capacity for musical appreciation. The regime's countermeasures include acoustic warfare units, specialized military divisions trained to use dissonant sound patterns that cause physical pain and psychological distress to anyone attempting musical performance. Emotional deadening campaigns, mass pharmaceutical programs that reduce citizens' neurochemical responses to rhythm, melody, and harmony. Cultural memory elimination, systematic destruction of all historical records related to musical traditions, instruments, and artistic expression. Informant networks, elaborate surveillance systems that reward citizens for reporting any evidence of musical activity among their neighbors or family members. It's a perfect totalitarian response to the most dangerous possible threat, a leader who can unite people through shared emotional experience rather than political ideology, Dr. Silva concludes. Recent increases in quantum signal strength suggest that the boundaries between our dimension and the mirror universe may be weakening, allowing greater information transfer between the parallel realities. Dr. James Wilson, a quantum field specialist studying interdimensional phenomena, has documented accelerating contact between the two realities through what he terms dimensional bleeding. We're receiving increasingly clear communications from the mirror dimension, suggesting that the resistance operations there are intensifying, Dr. Wilson explains from his interdimensional research facility. But we're also detecting signals coming from our dimension to theirs, suggesting that our Julio's music may be providing inspiration and tactical support to his mirror universe counterpart. The dimensional bleeding appears to be creating a feedback loop where success in one dimension influences operations in the other. Strategic knowledge transfer. Tactical information developed by Mirror Julio's resistance appears to be unconsciously influencing our Julio's creative decisions and performance strategies. Emotional amplification. The courage and determination of the mirror dimension resistance seems to be enhancing the inspirational power of our Julio's music. Cross-dimensional solidarity. Evidence suggests that both versions of Julio are becoming aware of each other's existence and are working to support each other's missions across dimensional boundaries. Reality convergence risk. Some researchers warn that increasing dimensional bleeding could lead to reality merger, potentially bringing the mirror universe's oppressive regime into our reality. Recent quantum communications suggest that Mirror Julio's resistance has evolved from defensive survival operations to an active liberation campaign aimed at completely overthrowing the silence regime. Military strategist Dr. Ana Garcia has analyzed the tactical evolution of the resistance movement as revealed through interdimensional intelligence. What began as small cells, trying to preserve musical knowledge, has transformed into a comprehensive revolution with the capability to challenge the totalitarian system directly. Garcia explains from her Strategic Studies Center. The liberation campaign includes several coordinated phases. Phase 1. Awakening. Mass exposure of citizens to suppressed musical experiences, designed to reactivate dormant emotional responses and question existing social conditioning. Phase 2. Network expansion. Rapid recruitment and training of new resistance members using proven musical bonding techniques and tactical coordination methods. Phase 3. Infrastructure disruption. Coordinated attacks on government surveillance systems, pharmaceutical distribution networks, and cultural enforcement facilities. Phase 4. Liberation concerts. Public musical performances designed to demonstrate the power of artistic expression and inspire mass civilian uprising against oppressive authorities. Mirror Julio isn't just preserving music anymore. Dr. Garcia concludes. He's using music to completely transform a totalitarian society and restore human emotional freedom. Perhaps most remarkably, recent evidence suggests that our dimension's Julio Iglesias may be unconsciously participating in efforts to support his mirror universe counterpart through what quantum physicists call cross-dimensional artistic resonance. Dr. Lisa Chen, a quantum consciousness researcher, has documented correlations between our Julio's performances and successful resistance operations in the mirror dimension. We've identified specific concerts in our reality that appear to provide tactical and emotional support to Mirror Julio's operations. Dr. Chen explains from her consciousness research laboratory. When our Julio performs certain songs with particular emotional intensity, quantum measurements show corresponding strength increases in mirror dimension resistance activities. The quantum rescue mission appears to operate through several mechanisms. Emotional energy transfer. Powerful emotional experiences generated by our Julio's concerts somehow cross dimensional boundaries to strengthen mirror dimension resistance morale. Strategic inspiration. Creative solutions developed by our Julio's artistic team appear to influence tactical decisions made by Mirror Julio's resistance operations. Temporal synchronization. Major concerts in our reality often coincide with successful resistance operations in the mirror dimension, suggesting coordinated timing across parallel realities. Reality anchor effects. Our Julio's continued success and freedom may be preventing the mirror dimension's totalitarian regime from expanding its influence into other parallel realities. Leading quantum physicists warn that increasing contact between our dimension and the mirror universe could have unpredictable consequences for both realities. Dr. Patricia Morales, director of the International Quantum Research Consortium, has issued warnings about the potential dangers of continued dimensional bleeding between the parallel universes. We're observing unprecedented levels of interdimensional contact, Dr. Morales explains from her Research Coordination Center. While this enables fascinating research opportunities, it also creates risks that we don't fully understand. The potential dangers include reality contamination. Oppressive elements from the mirror dimension could begin manifesting in our reality, potentially threatening our musical and artistic freedoms. Dimensional collapse. Excessive contact between parallel realities might cause one or both dimensions to become unstable, potentially destroying both universes. Consciousness displacement. Individuals might become permanently trapped between dimensions, losing connection to their original reality. Timeline disruption. Changes in one dimension caused by the other's influence could create paradoxes that fundamentally alter both realities' historical development. We may be witnessing the most important interdimensional contact in human history. Morales concludes, but we must proceed with extreme caution to protect both versions of our reality. As evidence of the mirror dimension continues accumulating, researchers face profound questions about intervention, support, and the responsibilities that come with interdimensional awareness. The quantum signals suggest that Mirror Julio's liberation campaign has reached a critical phase, where success or failure will determine whether the mirror dimension achieves freedom or descends into even deeper oppression. Ethical philosopher Dr. Michael Santos has raised important questions about humanity's moral obligations to parallel versions of our reality. If we can communicate with and potentially assist a version of our world where human artistic expression is systematically oppressed, do we have a moral duty to help? Dr. Santos asks from his Ethics Research Institute. Or would intervention risk corrupting both realities in unpredictable ways? The research community remains divided between those who advocate for increased contact and support for Mirror Julio's resistance, and those who warn that any intervention could have catastrophic consequences for both dimensions. Today, quantum receivers at CERN continue monitoring signals from the mirror dimension, tracking the progress of a revolution fought not with weapons, but with melodies, not with violence, but with the fundamental human need for artistic expression and emotional connection. Mirror Julio's resistance has proven that music represents something so essential to human nature that even the most oppressive totalitarian regime cannot completely eliminate it. His courage in choosing revolution over safety has inspired a movement that may ultimately liberate an entire parallel civilization. Whether our reality will play a role in that liberation, or whether Mirror Julio's resistance will succeed through their own determination and sacrifice, remains to be seen. But the evidence is clear. Somewhere in the infinite expanse of parallel dimensions, a version of our beloved singer has chosen to risk everything for the simple but profound principle that human beings have an inalienable right to express their emotions through music. The signals continue, the revolution persists. And in a reality where romantic ballads have become anthems of freedom, Julio Iglesias proves that some things, love, music, and the human spirit, are too powerful for any force in any dimension to destroy. The song of freedom plays on, carried across the boundaries of space and time by a voice that refuses to be silenced, in a universe that refuses to surrender its right to sing.